Jobke is wearing caps every day.
Golf life. I'm wearing caps because I haven't been to the hairdresser in a while, and the next availability is in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
you've been to the hairdresser. I saw it right away, Joey.
My mom's a hairdresser. I've been to a hairdresser for the first time in my life about 2 years ago in Aruba.
your mom's a hairdresser? She didn't tell me that last week. Hey.
Yeah, or I wouldn't have told you by the haircut, but hey.
No, she's been cutting my hair since 1988.
That doesn't make you a hairdresser.
No, she's a
But you also do
professional.
other people.
Yeah, she's a professional hairdresser.
Oh, okay.
So
The real one.
Okay.
It's the first time I entered like the hairdresser salon. I was like, it's a whole luxury experience, you know. Like to me, it's just like sit down, cut the hair, go.
You don't have a nice chat with your mom.
Nah.
All the gossip in the world.
No.
Okay.
No, but it's free though. That's one of the perks.
That always
She
good.
doesn't
Free is
even make
always
you
good.
coffee then?
I do
Damn.
get coffee, yeah, and she babysits my children. So yeah,
While cutting
While
your
she cuts
hair.
your hair.
Oh,
Wow.
now I get it.
while
Amazing.
cutting the hair. So yeah, it's actually a pretty nice combo, to be honest.
My mom is a hairdresser as well.
Really?
Professional one. Yeah.
You wouldn't say.
Also,
No,
Really?
yeah, because I actually almost never go, but I should, because next week I go to Ibiza, so I gotta look pretty fly for a white guy.
Do you go to Ibiza next week?
Hell yeah.
Holiday or what's the plan?
I'm invited by Dimitri Vegas to attend the opening of Ibiza Tomorrowland Presents Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike.
Ushuaia.
nice.
Or where is it?
Ushuaia.
For
Plus
just
it's his birthday on the 16th as well. and
just
that's
one
on the
day, or
15th. Huh?
is it just one day, or
No, I go there for from Wednesday until Saturday, because I also have a friend who lives there, and then we go to play padel, maybe go on the boat, have a nice swim, scuba diving.
The jet set lifestyle.
the guy
The
works so hard?
jet set lifestyle. Yeah, I gotta work on my Studio 10. It's I'm too pale for
Ibiza.
the Ralphster. No, usually I'm a little bit more
Did you
bronze.
just mention yourself in third party?
Yeah, I did.
The Ralphster.
The Ralphster. Rodelfo.
Rodolfo, roll up.
Roll up.
Big
Hey.
big R. R dog.
Armageddon.
What a
Armageddon.
dude.
Wow.
Armageddon. That's it.
That's
Make
the
way,
one.
make way. Nah, I don't know. Too many syllables.
But it's a nice getaway to go to.
I heard
Ibiza?
it's quite a happening over there.
Haven't you been there yet?
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah.
It's just saying stuff.
Oh,
I mean, it's a podcast. We got to fill it up for like an hour
true.
with nonsense. No,
True.
I've been there loads. I like it. Also like it for a few days. It's pretty expensive, and hence I also like to leave it and go back to where the prices are normal again.
Is it just as expensive as like the Miami Formula One? Formula One?
I don't know. I haven't been
It's
to
like
the Formula One.
$160 for like nachos.
How much?
$160.
Wow.
Depends on how much nachos you get.
A truckload. Oh.
No, then it's okay. No, I mean, a beer costs around 12 euro, 14 euros at Ushuaia, which I think is pretty insane.
But do you get a bottle though, like 33 centiliters, or a glass?
I think it's 33 centiliters, but still, that makes a liter around
remember-
42 euros.
I remember playing at Ushuaia, and then I was in the crowd after my set, and I was like, I'm too lazy to walk back to the backstage, and I want to buy some drinks. So I'm just gonna buy a beer, and I bought like a mixed drink, so like vodka with whatever. So like a mixed alcohol. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah,
But
it's
I gave him a 50 euros note, and I expected like some cash back. There you go. And he just handed me a 2 euro note, and I looked at him like
Two
I still
euro
remember this.
note. Do we have
No, a
notes
two
for?
euro coin, and I was
Okay.
still remember this vividly. I just looked at him like, and he
What?
looked at me like, "Yep." And it was all. It wasn't said anything, but he basically said, "That's Ibiza.
You're
Welcome
fucked.
to Ibiza." And I
Yeah.
just stood there
Oh,
like, "What the hell?"
it's
Paid
You're
48 euros
insane.
for 2 drinks.
Yeah.
holy shit.
Last
And
Yeah.
then I
time I
was
was
like,
there in
"Next time I'm going
September,
back to the backstage where it's free."
I even skipped going to high and went with a friend of mine to just a normal bar. And there were a lot of people who worked on the island also went there. We had the best time. A beer was like 5-6 euros, which is still pretty steep, but it's okay. And I mean, at those prices, okay, one night you can have some fun, but for the rest, it's too damn
I
expensive.
don't know how people
Crazy.
do it with
No,
flights and then entry fees and then
without
drinks.
crying. Yeah.
It's crazy, crazy.
Yeah. And yeah.
But I guess that's why like the big DJs there get paid so much money. Like the big headliners, I mean, they make a lot of money, but it's because people there spend so much money, like in the VIPs and
But are the fees
crazy.
higher in Ibiza though?
Nah, I don't think
It
so.
depends. I think if you're a really big name and you actually, I think Ibiza is where if you really have to sell the tickets. So big names can perform bad, let's say, ticket wise. But if you sell the tickets, I think it can be really
No,
good.
if they don't sell the tickets, they're off. I mean, also for the
Mhm.
big names, it's quite
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I
yeah,
mean.
the competition. Let's say all
Yeah.
the names that do Ushuaia. If you have a bad year and you sell considerably less tickets than the other headliners over there, I'm not sure if that's the money grab for also the big DJs. I think it's also like gives you this allure, it gives you
More
a
marketing, right?
profile, and yeah.
Like everyone wants
I
to
think
have their
nobody
own.
gets rich on Ibiza because the ones who do make the money, they
Well,
probably pay a lot of rent or I don't know what. Maybe the government gets rich.
I think some DJs get very rich in Ibiza.
Just
It's
like
not
with those
us.
Vegas deals, right?
It's not me, that's for sure.
Oh, the Vegas deals back in the day were ludicrous.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it didn't.
yeah.
But to be honest, um, I was right away like, this is not gonna hold up. This is so much
For the big names,
exaggeration.
it did, I think in general, for the big names, they make way bigger fees than, let's say, 10 years ago.
No,
No?
no, not in Vegas.
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, Vegas was insane. It was.
Yeah, but it's
You didn't even
still,
have as much clubs back then.
if you're a big headliner like Calvin Harris, the fees are enormous.
Yeah, they're
Enormous.
gigantic. I don't know if those, but I
Tiesto,
don't
Calvin
really know if
Harris,
they're higher
Sterix.
now than they used to be because also they have much more competition now from, let's say, other artists from like rappers or I don't know what. And yeah, so I don't think at some point Vegas, like 10 years ago, 2014, 15, it was all dance, all EDM. It was insane.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, even
Insane.
like Dre's, which was normally a club more urban, and they had
I played there.
all.
It was on the rooftop, right?
You have a rooftop and the inside. Yeah,
Yeah, I played it. Yeah, it was half in, half out.
yeah. That's the
Yeah, I
one.
played there.
Yeah, you could see the Eiffel Tower from there,
Yeah,
which is
exactly. And the
obviously not the
Caesar,
real one.
like the
Yeah,
waterfall,
but
not the waterfall, the
yeah,
fountain.
that also always used to be a more like a urban kind of crowd, and but that was also all
It's
EDM. It was
I think
insane.
it's really like you can compare it to the current state of dance music. There is less dance music, but the people on at the top of dance music just do way better. That's what I think right
But
now,
they
I
also
think
fee
sell
wise.
actually
out, right?
dance music is thriving. I see
Yeah,
it
but
a
look
lot.
at lineups on festivals. It's so more diversified than it was. That's what
Yeah,
I
but
mean. Like there's
which is a
way
good
more.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But just
but it makes it
I
harder
think,
from the lower you are in the pyramid,
Food
the
chain.
harder it gets for you.
yeah.
But
Definitely.
I always wonder, like, is it really that hard, that much harder than it used to be?
Yeah.
Why? What makes it so more? I actually think it's easier these days.
Yeah. To
Yeah,
really
I
make a
think
living out of it.
there's less focus by the crowd. I think there's less like there's so many options to choose from online. Let's say there's so many DJs. Um, yeah, I just think that's difficult to even become a fan of someone. You know, it's like yes, I do like that DJ, but I also like that DJ. So it's kind of like um, yeah, it's difficult. I think to become a fan even.
Yeah, because there's so much source of artists now right now, and not even in respect of the genre they play or make or whatever, but also where are they famous? What are the metrics? Are they like TikTok famous, or are
Yeah.
they like Spotify stream wise famous, or what's the real pool there? There's some artists that are like doing really well on TikTok, and I don't even have a clue who they are, but apparently they're pretty. Popular to some to quite a lot of people. Yeah, but do they also really sell tickets? It's kind of hard to show that you're popular. Selling hard tickets, I think nowadays is really difficult.
Yeah.
And when we just started out, I mean, it was crazy. It was almost like if you were from Holland and you had a release at some point on
Yeah.
one of the leading labels, not even the leading labels, and then you had like 12,500 Facebook likes. You could play in America. That was
I
just
remember I
ridiculous.
remember I was signed to when I was signed to Spinnin, it was really like you came somewhere and this is like let's say 2014 and people asked like, "Well, are you signed to Spinnin?" Yes. Wow. And they were like their
Yeah,
minds were blown and they were like a fan of you because they followed the Spinnin team, let's say, and it yeah, that's not the it isn't like that anymore. What you see like with Stamped, like with Martin Garrix, they're really they're like a good community. I think that label, like you really like, hey, that's a Stamped artist,
yeah, definitely.
but not in the way it was before. It's not that big. It's not that big of a movement in my eyes. But then again, I could also just be way more focused on my
No,
own
but
life
that's because
at this point.
it's like one of the many movements, and
Exactly.
if
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
you have really high, let's say hard techno. You have Nico Moreno, Sarah Landry, who are doing really well. A bunch of DN, all doing really well. Then in the house scene, you have guys like John Summit and Dom Dollar Man. They're just blowing everybody away. Then you have you have the Armins, the Tiestos, the Hardwells that do really well. Garrix, of course, and then you have so many. You have now also guys who do really different stuff like Marlon Hofstad. I really like him. He's doing really well. There are so many compartments you can choose from, and also the Dutch guy who does house. And I don't. There are so many guys. Another they do really well, and that's a really other different scene. That's more like black coffee and all the stuff. I don't even know how to call it. They have the melodic techno
Afro house.
guys, Anima. I yeah, Tale of Us, and there's so much going on right now, and
But I
that
think that it hasn't changed that much, to be honest. It's just that you're much more aware of it at this time.
now it's harder. I mean, you have to be really on top of your own little segment or
Mm.
genre, or else it gets hard to make a living out of the music. Whereas that was before, when you had like two pyramids, like the big room guys and some
And the
other stuff.
underground guys, let's say.
Yeah, and then yeah, it was easier to make a living out of it. And now with all these genres
Mm.
and you can do really well in hard techno, but still don't make enough to earn a living. Yeah, and that was so much easier
Mm.
back in
Yeah.
the days.
Yeah, and I guess back then it just how it feels to me, it was kind of like, hey, I make music and people love that and hey, here's bookings and people knew you because you made those songs. And now it's like because there's so much music being released, I think what is it like the last I heard was like 100,000 songs a week or a day or something being uploaded on
Yeah, a week,
Spotify.
but that's all the
Something,
genres combined on
Everything
Spotify alone.
combined, yeah.
yeah, but still, like that's like a crazy increase of amount of music, and it's just it's not that. Um,
Is he getting a book?
this sounds wrong, but that's like I don't really know how to say it in English, but it's
Ah.
not that special anymore. If you can create music, you can create good music.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, that's the foundation you need anyways, and now it's time to step up and really be, like you said, Ralph, like be really on top of it, what it is you do. And I think 15 years ago it was like, oh, you can make a good EDM track, you're welcomed. You know, you're like, oh, you're almost
Yeah,
instantly a hero of the scene.
yeah, it was
Um,
insane.
and yeah, that's not anymore. But I think if you have something unique, it still can be as easy, let's say easy, to break through and like get there, because yeah, if it's unique, you're really gonna stand out everywhere.
I still do believe that
Even all the arguments, but I still believe.
yeah, it's just my opinion. As in, I just don't think it has become that much different than it used to be. As in, yes, a few genres got added, but even back in those days, you had tech house, you had house, you had dubstep, you had drum and bass, you had hardcore, hardstyle, Frenchcore. There, even back then,
Frenchcore, he's naming. Because you
No,
named
but
Frenchcore,
listen,
it's not valid anymore.
go to beatport.com, genres. If it's working, here we go.
if
Here we
it's
go.
working.
It's not working. I can't see the genres. This is amazing. Oh,
Oh,
here we
what
go.
the fuck? Me neither.
Dubstep, grime, Afro house, amapiano, bass/club, bass house, breakbeat, dance, electropop, deep house, DJ tools, drum and bass, dubstep. Like it goes on. This is the second row. There's 4 rows, even only on Beatport. And then there's people with like, oh, future house is a genre, and like named their own genre, and like there's just so many genres. And now it's like, what? It's just
But don't you think
what?
it's like easier to become big in a subgenre than it is to be big in like a more general kind of genre? Eventually, being in a
I
niche is even stronger than being in
my
a general.
theory is that music production just became much easier.
True,
That's
that's
what I
also
think.
part of the deal.
So like a house track, if you now let's on Splice or a sample thing, you or FL Cloud, you you put like house and like drums and a kick and everything, you can have a
It's insane.
professional sounding track within 5 minutes, easy. And that's
I'm
that changed
sometimes amazed that
drastically.
through mastering, how bad people can make it sound.
Oh,
That's.
I
I
have a
mean,
cool
samples
story
are
about
so good
mastering.
nowadays. If you just
I
add a limiter, it will be okay.
I have a cool story about mastering. I got the best compliment I've had in a while. So what I usually do,
Okay.
if I make a record, I usually send it out to a mastering company and be like, hey, can you master this or mix this? Can you have a listen? Tell me what you think you can do. And then they mix it or master it, and then it goes on to the portals. Now I did that, and then it sounded like this in the email. I'm really really happy. Thanks for sending over the link, and I just had a chance to listen to the mix. Now, to be honest, I think that what you have sounds great already, and I don't think it needs either a stem mix or a master. All the sounds are nicely balanced, and the master is super loud without sounding overly squashed. And then some suggestions about maybe the EQ the vocal a little bit with the mids and stuff. But yeah, just that because
Hey,
you talked about mastering, I was super happy. That's like no, but that's like I was just yeah, just I'm very happy. That's such a big compliment from someone who is an audio engineer. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, you know. No, but also because a lot of
no,
people
it's
ask
cool.
me, on like live streams and on Discord, like, hey, how do you master your track? Or they think that the mastering is something that
Yeah, the game
makes your
changer.
track from shit to great, and it makes it from a track that is not successful to a successful track. But I always say I make it that it's like 95% that it sounds good, that I can already play it, and DJs can already play it, and then I ask someone who, yeah, actually studied for like sound engineering, for example,
Yeah,
to hey,
I
can you have
disagree
a
on this
listen
point.
and
Hmm?
sorry?
It's so important to have a good master, and you need to master correctly. Everybody should know how
Yeah,
to do it.
I'm not making a point. I'm just saying what I always do. I make sure that I make a 90% what I think, hey, this is my best master. I love this. Now let's see what a mastering engineer can do.
Yeah,
So then
you
he
can
can
add to
make
it.
it to
For
what is
me,
like
there's only
the
one
best
real
master.
master engineer, and that's Hardwell. He's the king, man. It's insane.
Hardwell fanboy.
Yeah, truly, I am. No, he changed my master setup, and it sounds so much better now.
I
And but yeah, what I think people just don't have a clue about what they are doing, and it's important to know. Okay, all your sound goes into a master channel. First off, don't send it in too loud. Bottom line, that's the best approach. Then make sure your stereo is all good. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's the basics, and then you start compressing, limiting, multi-band. First off, you should do some multi-band compression, and then a compression, and then end it with limiting. Maximizer last, by the way. Make sure your transients are in shape.
Forget
It's
all
not.
that.
No, don't forget it.
Forget all that. Forget all that. Make it sound good and realize
No,
what
but
you're good at.
that's how you make it sound good. Know
Yeah,
what
but
you're
maybe
doing.
in 10 years we have all new techniques because someone decided to experiment.
But
What I'm saying
now is
is
now, man.
all this you have to do this, and
The
this is
world
on your
don't wait.
master.
The world don't
This is
wait.
on your master, and all this like you have to do this, you have to do that, is for some people can really limit and block their creativity. Instead of like someone like me, I'm like, hey, this is where my knowledge of mastering stops, so I might as well hand that part over. So I focus more on
But
the idea of the song and the
the thing is,
melodies and the chords,
it's
and then
easy. No, it's
you
easy.
no, you have to know where your limits are. You
No,
can't just
it's just
you
laziness.
can't know
You
everything.
don't
You can't
want
do
to
everything
learn it because
yourself,
you don't
and
make.
you're a perfectionist, and that's what can kill your creativity.
No, everybody
So
can learn it.
watch out with watching tutorials and think like, oh, I'm never gonna be this smart like Hardwell or Bassjackers with my master. I'm never gonna be able to do it. No, just try stuff. Try stuff from tutorials, but don't stick to it like that has to be like that, and you have to use this or you have to use that, because then you
Okay,
block yourself, you limit yourself
everybody
too
at
much.
home, forget what he said and start learning. It's easy.
Exactly.
You should
How
do.
do you learn?
You're able to do it.
How do you learn, Ralph? Is it that you know everything and then do everything right the first time,
No,
or you haven't got a clue and you fall down a few times
no, but
and
you
you
gotta
learn how
read
to pick
about.
yourself up? It's
No,
like,
but you gotta read. You gotta have a plan, and it has to make sense. What
no,
do you do
don't
in your
agree. Don't
master,
agree
and
at all.
why?
Don't
For,
agree at all.
no, but actually, not all the people have money to send their track to a blah blah.
Don't need
And
that. You don't need that.
if
You
it
don't need
doesn't
that.
stand out in the mix, let's say we get a demo and it sounds a little bit shitty, and Marlon plays it within all the other like explosive tracks, it will not do its job properly and will get put aside. That's how it works. It needs to uphold itself in between all the other shit that's in the set,
I agree.
which
I agree.
sounds really good.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
But there's several
90%
ways
ain't gonna
to
cut it,
reach.
man.
There's not one way to reach that. There's not
No,
one
no,
way
but you
to.
don't have the money. So what you do, you got to master that skill yourself. It will be a
Yes,
life
but I
thing
think we
that you.
disagree on how you obtain that skill. I'm more of like, hey, I'm just gonna try shit out. And luckily I've been doing it for 15 years, so now I kind of know what I'm doing, you know. But I wouldn't have ever started making
You know.
electronic dance music if I was like, oh, but you need to know everything about what a compressor does or what
Oh
multi-band
no.
compression does. Or
Well, I think when you're a master, you should know it because that's a logic process. with making music and sounds, I mean, I don't know what the fuck the soundgoodizer does, but I put it on quite a lot of sounds. If I have a kick, first thing I do
Amazing.
is put a soundgoodizer on it and see and listen to how it sounds. Sometimes it's shittier, sometimes it's cooler, and then I leave it on. But the mastering is a logical process. And you do have some tools. Hartwell showed me also use the Gullfoss, which kind of repairs EQs in your spectrum. It's drains your CPU, so don't do it all the time. But there's also like tools I don't understand that work on the master, and it's trial and error. Does it work or not? No, scratch it. But there is a logic within your stereo image, your EQs, your subs, and everything, and it has to go through a certain order to make it sound good. And you also need to look
What
at
is
the metrics.
what is sound good? That's not a set thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there's not a set. Hey, it's always subjective.
Within the
If
music
Marlon
we
doesn't
do,
like it, and
no, but within the music that we do, that sounds in a certain way, and Marlon plays a set, you can hear the shit that's not mastered right, and it just doesn't perform as well.
That's in dance music, though. But
Yeah,
I
of
get your
course.
point.
But I mean, we're in
You know,
dance music. If we want to talk hip hop, that's okay too. I'll shut up because I don't know how to make that shit.
I still remember hearing one from Swedish House Mafia for the first time, and I really remember thinking like, "Holy fuck!" Like the way that track sounded, you know, like the kick and everything, how it was mixed. I was like so impressed by the impact of the song. And that made me think as well back then, because I do agree with Jobke that knowledge can also kind of paralyze you at some point, which happened to me as well, because I started to dive deeper into mixing and mastering at some point because I wanted to get my track to the next level. But the more I knew, the more I kind of started to think in boxes, in rule sets, you could say, you know, like this, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to use that plugin, you're not supposed to do it in this order. While in the end, that's I think what Jobke means, but in the end, the only thing that really matters is how it sounds, you know. Like I do agree with you, Ralph, as in there is a certain
Threshold.
well, threshold, but also like a certain way of how you can mix, and the row of how you set up that rack of elements and instruments you use to do it. But it's also okay to sometimes experiment and see like, hey, maybe I should do it differently and see what happens then, you know.
Yeah, but some stuff doesn't make sense. You're
True,
not
but
exactly,
gonna.
which
that's
is
the beauty
which
of
is
music. It
amazing.
doesn't have to make sense as long
No,
as it sounds
but
great.
it's just silly. You're not gonna EQ when you first do your limiting or compression and then EQ. Yeah, that's just
Maybe it's
no. There's
brings
no
you to a
maybe.
new.
That's like putting
Yeah,
the
we just
horse behind
agree.
the wagon.
Let's
Yeah.
agree to disagree. I just think that's
Do you
that
put the horse behind the wagon?
of course sometimes.
If
Why
No.
you want
not?
to go backward, if you want to
Maybe
go
the horse
back,
can push way more than it can pull. How do you find out? That's what I'm saying. How do you find that
Well,
out?
it's an educated guess. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but
It's the
that's
highest
you're never gonna
probability
know
of
unless you
success.
try. It's just I'm
No,
just
it's the
trying to
highest
say.
probability of success. Hey, but you go for the
I
few
no, but
percent that can,
no, but
clean.
you're not listening to that part. Is where I like, yes, there's a way that probably works best, but don't get hung up on that way, that it has to be that
you
way.
need to stay open
Because
minded.
you can
Yeah, no, but you
sometimes you
cannot
can
stay
then block off
open-minded for
your
silly stuff.
How do you know
you
that
what?
it's still? You only will find
Yeah.
out by
Because
doing
if
it.
you put your EQ behind your mastering and
So
behind your compression and your shit, it will
if
clip
you
again. It's
if you
simple as
record a
that.
vocal, it needs to be this, it needs to be that, it needs to be that. Hey, here's Fred again, and he took some fucking voicemail which sounds very bad, and he made it into a hit. You know, like
I might have a
just
point which kind of breaks this whole thing down. I still remember when the whole loudness war thing started, right? And every single EDM track pushed through all those limiters fully in the red.
Ralph, focus, come on.
Yeah, it's the stupid thing. That was like,
So every EDM song was mastered like fully through the roof, as in it was clipping on all sides, right? And I still remember my mastering engineer telling me, like, dude, what are you guys doing? You know, it's not supposed to be like this. And I was like, I know it's not supposed to be like this, but it does bring a certain edge to the sound that we're looking for in this genre. You know,
Yeah, but I mean, I read, I don't know who were talking about a loudness war. I never experienced it. I saw Layback Luke tweeting about it, but
I think it was back in the 2014s,
yeah,
2012.
but I
Everyone
mean,
was.
yeah,
I think Hardway was kind of the one leading the whole thing, but
yeah,
not
but
sure.
he can just make it sound really good and still have enough dynamics. I mean,
Exactly,
yeah.
but then you got like a lot of like W and stuff. Like they all entered the
Oh,
game
they're also really
get
good.
it to sound like as loud as possible. And
Yeah,
then
but you just had guys who are really able to master their own shit really
that's
good.
true, but looking from like a classical mastering engineer perspective, they also said it's not supposed to be like this.
Yeah,
While
but
we said
it was EDM. I mean, is hardstyle supposed to be there? I mean, it's like distortion and clipping
Yeah,
through
but
the
that,
roof. Yeah.
how did people get to that
but
way of producing?
that's the subjective part that
No, but
Jay
it's
means.
I mean, those things what they do 99% of the time are still logical. You don't do illogical stuff, and it has a really low probability of doing some cool stuff, but that's not on the master. The master is the master, and there is some logic behind it.
Guys,
It's 100%
if you're
logic.
listening, it's no problem to put delays and reverbs on your master. It is fine. Reverb on the master is always works.
To be honest, that's not a big deal. I mean, I always have an endless smile on my master.
As long as
Yeah,
you put it in front of all the other stuff.
of course. Don't put it behind. That's the logic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
hey,
No, but there's
we
no
agree.
logic. Like
Nice.
we agree to disagree, I think. I
No,
think
me and Joey
this
agree.
is what always bothered me. Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. But this was what always bothered me when I just started out. It's like you see all these tutorials and it's like it has to go like this. But for some people, and I'm one of those people, it can be just very annoying. What if I let go of everything I know and just start making things, and then I find out eventually how to get to a nice sounding master. Um,
You also
it's
gotta
just
know.
how.
I mean,
Maybe you
nowadays,
have different definitions of what master means, as in I think in the end of the story, like music itself is science, right? Like you can't put a
do
track
you
out of
make your
phase.
kick stereo, your sub?
Yeah, stuff like this. Like you can't
I
put a track
Yeah.
out of phase because it just doesn't sound. It
If
just
it's
doesn't work.
phasing, it will sound shitty on a big
Exactly.
This is the thing. This
sound
is the thing.
system.
This is why I like explain how I work. I make a track and I'm like, hey, it sounds good, but if Marlon plays it, he's gonna hear like, ooh, that kick and bass, like ooh, and I know that. I know that about my track, and I know that I don't have for that track, not the exact knowledge to how to get this to the next level. So I sent it out to someone who does know it, and he goes by this rule book. But just saying, like, I know then where my limitations are. But before that process, I never thought once of I have to do this way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but then I mean, the world has changed, and we made a bootleg the other day, and none other than Armin sent us the message. How did you get your kick and bass so fat? If I wouldn't have learned how to do it, I couldn't have done it like that. And he would never think like that sounds fat. I mean, maybe
It's
he doesn't
also
even like
because
the rest of the track. But if I hear something of somebody and I go like, damn, this sounds really dope, it's most of the time. I mean, how can a kick and a bass sound fat without all the
yes, but
working of
you
the
have to
sound? I
here
mean,
you have
it's
to
still a kick
realize
and a bass.
here you have to realize that your sound is now very dependent on that kick and bass. And I just with like dance music, it's not always exactly like about that. Yes, in 99% maybe, but there's melody, there's
No,
some
but
kind of
also Fred again sounds fat. It just enters here. This
Yeah,
thing right
exactly.
here, the
But
Yes.
heart, you boom,
that's not
you can feel it,
formulas and
and it's
I know.
teeth grinding like, oh yes,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's not this mastering where that like
Maybe we
gets
should
from like an empty track to I feel it in my soul kind of track. That's
maybe
not where the magic happens.
maybe we should
Per se,
invite
not per se.
maybe we should invite a mastering engineer and have him.
Yeah. No, but I will
No,
fight with the
but
mastering engineer.
is the mastering engineer the right person? I mean, does he make music that's played by other people? I mean, we gotta invite somebody who makes the tracks that everybody supports. I mean, take Mau P for an instance. Mind the dynamics he have, how he mixes it. I mean, creatively, the tracks aren't always that special, but he knows how to turn a really good flow into something amazing because of all those dynamics. And it's mixing and mastering. He's amazing also. I mean,
True.
take Fisher and Chris Lake. Those tracks, they aren't complex, but still, they are complex in they're so simple and they always enter. What's the track called? Atmosphere?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Funk?
amazing.
Okay, we're gonna.
And no, but listen to those tracks. They are not complex to how you listen. It's like
You
I always
don't
liked Big Room because it wasn't complex, but the good ones stand out because of their really good mixing and mastering.
The conclusion is you don't need to know all those things to make a hit. Because if you know your limitations, you can be like, you know what? I'm gonna call Ralph and maybe he can mix it for me. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah, if you pay
say.
big bucks, I'll mix it for you.
Exactly. But that's what I not
Commercial guy.
but
No,
know
but
your
it's nice.
it's important
No, but
it's important to know your
we're in the
weaknesses, you know?
process of a collab with Oliver Heldens, and he sent a message to me. He sent some parts also, and because he wasn't feeling the sub, I just didn't hear. And then all of a sudden, I changed the subs in there and put in some parts of his. Dude, it sounds so much better. And an engineer wouldn't have known that we wanted it like that. But now in the club also, it just sounds really so much doper than it did before.
But you picked a different sub synth, you mean?
No, I just boosted some elements, and this one it's like kick bass, and the bass I used was more like a straight signal, and whereas what he wanted to hear was like that it had more like a pitch, and then you get more transient in there, and you get different dynamics because it then goes like tuk 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 tuk, and there is this kind of. I'm not a synthesizer, but okay, you get what I mean. But it's those things that make it stand out. I mean, a lot of good tracks. Helders also, he's an example. Dude knows his shit, and you can hear it. It's yeah. Most of some tracks become big hits that don't sound really cool, but have cool ideas. It totally happens quite a lot. I mean, I really liked the Jengi track. Didn't sound so really cool, but it was
Where was it?
amazing. And yeah, and but most of the stuff, like some people don't even have the big hits. I mean, Malon Hofstad, his biggest hit streams like 20 million times. It isn't a big hit, but he brings a certain genre and does it so well. And also, when I listen to his shit in my car, because I do, yeah, uh, it sounds really dope.
I have a couple of community questions for you guys. We're gonna park this topic.
Okay, let's put
40
on the
minutes,
glasses.
Conclusion,
40 minutes
you
in.
don't
Let's go. Hey, but the good news is people are still watching and actually participating in the conversation. So
Hey.
they do care.
They are the crazy
Um,
ones.
Yeah, so everyone, thanks for joining the live stream and participating. We're happy
You're welcome.
to give
You're
you
welcome.
a nice
Happy to
discussion.
join, Joey. Happy to join.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we got a community question in the Discord from him.
Oh, yeah.
I had some marketing
He had
questions. I
some
thought
word
it would be
jokes
really
about
nice
him.
and interesting to hear about from you, Ralph and Jobke. How much marketing budget does Spinning Records offer per release, and what budget would you expect a new artist to get in comparison?
This is dependent on a lot of factors like, do you already have streaming numbers? What do they expect the track will do? Where do they want it to blow up? Do they want it to blow up on TikTok? Do they want it to blow up on Spotify? It's you can't really there's not one number for this. It really
No,
depends
also
on
depends on what kind of track is, but
yeah.
I think they do like approximately like 2,000, 2,500 euros per release anyway, which is probably
That's like the
50
standard,
50%
the
recoupable.
minimum then. Yeah.
2,000 for a starring artist.
Yeah, but they might as well just do 2,000 on a track of ours as well, or Jobke's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like the minimum. Like, but if you have to realize if Spinnin signs a track, they usually know, hey, we can make this kind of revenue with it over that time, so they can.
Yeah.
They won't just sign a beginner just like that, I guess.
No, that's true. If an artist wanted to spend more on the budget on a music video instead of social media ads, do you think Spinning would agree, or would they insist on having it in a certain way?
No, but why would you? I mean, if you make a cool video, make sure you upload it on your own channel as well. Yeah, what do you want to get out of it? Videos are
I
really
think
expensive also.
that's the question. What do you want to get out of it? If you really think it's gonna help you, what I once did for the Electric Elephants video, I put
That was a dope video.
extra money of me, and then asked the label, "Hey, can you guys also chip in? So we have a higher budget, so we can do this in this video." And we had the plan all laid out because I felt like that's what that track needed. Um, so it, but yeah, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting out of it? Because money wise, you're gonna lose money on music videos. I think, yeah, depends only if it becomes, of course,
Yeah, I mean, Yellow
100
Claw
million
always had a
stream.
really cool strategy, and I think they're also masters in marketing. Jim obviously is
Director.
a really good director, and but they had those cool videos. They started out with the big fonts in the screen, Yellow Claw, and then fade to black, and bam, cool images. That really also launched their career. But yeah, that's the thing. You gotta have a bigger plan than one video. Can make
Yeah.
sense. Cool videos.
And especially ever since a few months, like Spotify also supports video now, so you can actually watch the videos if you listen to Spotify.
Yeah, I haven't really. We don't have a strategy for it.
Yeah, but it is possible. So I guess video is kind of becoming a bit more important.
Yeah, that will suck because it costs a lot of money.
And you know what also was funny, what I noticed is that my daughter last week or 2 weeks ago, she really likes watching music videos on Xite. You know that TV.
Excited, yeah.
She was just zapping through the TV stations, and she was like listening to a video clip of someone, and then another video came and another video, and she's like, "Oh, I like this. Like I can just
Yeah.
listen to music." And I was like, "Huh."
My
That's
daughter
funny.
is 4 and she likes Europapa.
Yeah, oh, dude.
Yeah, and she likes the video as well. And then
Yeah.
she also always says, "The burning house, it will burn down." And okay,
Yeah,
will he
it's
then die?
but maybe
No,
like videos might become more important in the future if people are if music is not that important anymore, or less special, you could say. Maybe the video can make it a bit more special.
music is always special, man.
Well, we just talked about the fact that there's 100,000 tracks a week, so you need to find one way to kind of stand out.
Music is less special than it was because there's so much of it. I think it's definitely lost its. Yeah, I don't know.
Did it?
For me, at least. For me.
What did it lose?
Well, I find it hard to really connect to a track in the way that I did, of course, in your teenage years, but also in my 20s. I just haven't had a hit lately where I was really like, oh, that's going on my Spotify list, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, There
Just
are
like for my
some.
Let me check.
personal
I
taste.
actually have a list on Spotify which I call all round music, and I drop in all the music I like, which is like all different genres that do it to each other. It's like my personal radio list. Let me see what I've added lately. Addicted from the Chainsmoker. I really like that song from the Chainsmokers.
Which one is that? Is that the one?
Wanna get addicted.
Oh yeah, that I really like that one.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean they did the Zerp Mwaki thing
It was
again,
it
but
was with
they
Zerp.
did it really well.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that one.
It's a cool
A
song.
few Spanish songs.
Pedro.
Rosalia.
Pedro. Hey, don't play music because we're gonna get
We're gonna get
banned from.
but like Loving on Me, Jack Harlow, also pretty nice.
Mhm.
A lot of 80s and 90s songs, 70s songs. Gloria Estefan, Conga.
Dude.
Girlfriend.
I like.
Dude, I'm a boomer.
I have de kleine krokodil, de apenstopdans op een grote paddenstoel. And yesterday I played Badadan for my daughter.
Oh, that's also a good one.
Because she was kind of like Badada, and I was like Badadan.
Here you go.
And then I turned it on, and I was dancing, and she was really like, whoa, what's happening? And then I like danced, and
I
she
gotta
laughed.
say,
It was really funny.
I'm looking at the charts right now, but Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. I totally missed it. Is that also one of the diss songs? Because I see Euphoria.
There was a whole thing going on between Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
Yeah, I know, a lot of rappers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, but someone dissed someone, and then the whole thing started.
Oh, Drake, you mean Drake? Ah.
This is Spanish. Drake.
Drake.
Yeah, no, but I really have no clue what happened there, but my whole timeline was filled with Drake and
yeah, same here. But I didn't totally follow it, but the Euphoria track is like a diss track towards Drake, but and Not Like Us, I don't know it, but
Ja. Nou, ik ken Drake. Best lang.
dude.
Nice. Okay, if you could only use 3 marketing strategies for each release, which 3 would you consider the most effective?
Define marketing
3?
strategy.
So a strategy could be to use influencers to promote the song. A strategy could be to do a bootleg and to get a lot of support.
What we now are trying to do, which is pretty cool, we have so much bootlegs, and we're also giving them away through SoundCloud, and hyped at it. And we're now like incorporating the button pre-save to download.
On SoundCloud or?
No, pre-save on Spotify.
But
So
where
you have to pre-save our next single, which will come on Spotify, to be able to download the song we have on SoundCloud.
Jobke is writing down. It's like, okay.
That's cool, right?
Taking notes. But how does this work? As in,
that always annoys me so much.
Pre-save.
Yeah, pre-save in general, I never really do it. And also when I want to download a bootleg and I have to then pre-save, or like that really annoys me. I'm like, oh,
same.
Yeah, but still, I mean, why can't we ask something for the music we put out for free? Which is then not
I guess
free.
no. I from an artist standpoint, I really like.
No, also from a
I
listener,
get
if
it.
you like the track, yeah, you do something.
Well,
for
no,
it.
it annoys me. Then I want it for free. It just I want the fastest way to have it on my SD cards. Let's say. That's just you without like.
So you would give away music just for free?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying from a consumer point of view, I'm annoyed when I have to like someone's profile or follow someone to get a.
But it's a small token.
I know, but I'm just saying from a consumer standpoint.
The effort you put in making this awesome bootleg.
Does it help, Ralph? Can you already see some?
We just started. No, it's a new experiment. Yeah.
But I, from an artist point of view, I get it, and I think it's smart, and I think it's fair. But just purely as a non-biased consumer, I'm just like, that's annoying. Just give me the damn track. Just saying, you know.
You're a short-minded consumer.
No, I don't think so. I just think,
Narrow-sighted consumer.
that's just the way
Egocentric consumer.
consumerism works these days.
Well, they do have an attention span of like 1 minute. So.
But coming back to marketing plans or whatsoever, it depends on what you do. But for us, sometimes we scratch songs because they're not being picked up by other DJs. I mean, if nobody wants to play it, does it have a right of existence? For me, that's one of the biggest ifs. If it's and then on the other side, you have tracks that might stream a little bit better. So you have on the one side really the festival ones and the streaming ones, and of course there's some overlap there. But yeah, and then for the streaming ones, let's say you do a cover of a cool song, that can do the shit on Spotify, and that also can become then the track that is supported by the DJs, because sometimes it does really well on Spotify and then gets picked up. But yeah, you shouldn't be alone in if nobody answers that like this is cool. That's a sign.
Here's someone in the chat saying, from a local DJ standpoint, pre-saving is better than leaving an email.
Okay.
I think that also really depends per age group, as in we might value an email address differently from following someone or something. Like the value feels different.
I don't like being spammed on my email, so
Same. Yeah,
I
I
rather
think it's a
don't.
good
Yeah,
good statement. If I had to choose as the consumer, I definitely also would choose to have my Spotify linked to the new release of Bassjackers than my email, which I use also for other private matters.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So that's a
And
good
if
fair
you
point.
do, then have a good unsubscribe button, because I hate stuff that's hard to
Oh.
It's
unsubscribe.
actually you have to have a good unsubscribe button. It's
Yeah.
by law you need
Dude,
one.
I mean,
am
but yeah,
getting.
who's like a policeman will go like, "Oh, yeah, I heard your
I think
unsubscribe
if you're a
button."
big company, you really
Yeah, but
you
for
can
us, yeah.
I honestly still get demos from one label, which I've signed out from like a dozen times, and I still receive
just
the fucking demos.
file a complaint. You can file a complaint at the overseeing authority that
Like,
handles.
I have
kind of
like
stuff.
my email address, which I used back in the DJ times. I still have it active, where all the demos came in, and I started unsubscribing on a few of those labels which I'm not interested in anymore. And one of them just keeps banging them out like every week, dozens of emails. I'm like, so annoying. Yeah, so I would.
Yeah,
I would
there are
say,
some labels that also they send out like on Sunday evening a bunch of promos, and like 5 or 6 every Sunday evening, the
Yep.
same label, and every time shitty.
It's really annoying to me, and I emailed actually In Flight, which is like one of the biggest demo service things
Yeah,
that
distributor.
distributor, and I emailed them because I get an email for every release that's on there. Like if I'm subscribed to, let's say, Spinning Records on there for their promos, I get an email as soon as there's a new one, and I try to not have that,
Yeah.
and I can't turn that off.
Okay, but I don't like the promos where they have like one email, and they send out one email for like 5 different promos they have on their label. Man, I almost never check them. It
Also
has
don't
to
like
be
that.
easy and
Yeah, and clear. Just this is the track by this guy or girl, and this is the track, and here you can listen to it, and here you can
because
download it.
also if there's a bunch of things in like a Dropbox link,
Also annoys me.
I don't know which one is the extended. I cannot
Also
see it
annoys
on
me.
my phone.
Also
True.
annoys me.
But it's first
grinds
world
my
problem.
gears.
Yeah, and also speaking of, that's also a good one to invest in, a good promo service. We use quite a lot WOA or Turnt, whatever you want.
And then an email list of if you meet Ralph and you ask him for his email and he gives it, put it in some file somewhere, and then make a list of all the DJs you know.
Yeah.
Because then every release you can send out, hey, here's my new
Yeah,
track.
hey, that's the least you should do. Always keep spamming everybody, because to be honest, also if I see names continuously in my mailbox, I start to remember.
There's one person who always sends me.
He sends out. I actually sent him an email the other day.
Yeah, he said so.
There's one person, a DJ, who always sends me like a whole story, and I think I've never met him in real
Oh,
life. And
don't
he's
do a
like,
whole
"Hey man,
story.
I was in London last week and the weather was horrible. How was it over there? Here's my new demo." And I'm like, dude, I haven't reacted to your last email. I haven't ever spoken to you. Stop talking to me about the weather and just send your track. It's annoying. It makes me almost want to
Yeah,
not
and
listen to
also
it.
I hate getting, that's the discussion we had before, getting an unmastered one. Like,
Yeah.
dude.
True.
And then put some, at least limited.
If you send out a track as a demo, make it like to the best of your abilities. If you think, hey, it lacks something, get it fixed before you send it out.
Yeah.
It should
Or
be,
it's like
yeah.
to one of your friends, like friends producers. Hey man, what do you think of this idea? But if you send a track to like a big DJ you want support from, just make sure that it's the best you can do. Because sometimes if you keep sending like tracks that aren't really interesting, they can think, oh, that name, no, I'm not even gonna check it anymore. And then you're in the
I
in the
do gotta
pit.
say, I got some pretty good demos this week.
Nice.
Yeah, which is cool.
Nice.
I really like getting those. And I enjoy that there's some true talent out there, and makes me work harder, because then I'm like, we
We need to level
Yeah,
up.
you are one
they're
of
right
those.
there.
You are one of those people that does those things out of fear of like being.
No, I like competition. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're always like, oh, but there's the next. Oh, I have to be good because oh no, it's really like it stresses me out a little bit, and then I realize, hey, that's not who I. Then I have to think like, no, that's how Ralph does it. That's not how I want to live my life. So
No,
get
I
out of my
do
head.
get there's some motivation. I get motivation from frustration sometimes, or yeah, but also things like this when I see people making steps, then I'm like, okay, I have to step my game up as well. But I also like that if I learn something new and cool, then yeah, it makes me feel proud of myself.
We can talk about that.
We
Yeah,
cannot, or
you
we can.
can. Hey, have
Yeah,
fun with that. I'm going to
that's
do something useful then.
yeah. No, guys, we're gonna have to end it.
Oh,
Ah,
Almost 1 hour.
do you need to poo?
No, I have to go.
Oh.
Actually, Phil in the chat mentioned something interesting. He said, like, why not open like a channel in the Discord to where people can drop in their email addresses to build like
Dude,
an email.
I was thinking, I miss fora, and we've discussed it
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Vato Gonzalez, the Layback Luke forum, and yet club charts before
Yep.
you
that.
know why this also is a thing? Why we missed that is because I remember the Vato forum and the Laidback Luke forum was a lot of guys that were very passionate about making music,
Mhm.
and now there's also a lot of people passionate about making music on like Discord and stuff, but also a lot of guys who are just interested in becoming famous and doing whatever it takes to get there, and that's such a different
Hmm.
crowd in my eyes.
That's
Um,
that's really a different breed.
Yeah, and that's why I think we miss the forums because I remember we were just a bunch of nerds making music and
Oh, but
like.
sometimes I also miss like opinions of the music. I mean, of course, we
Mhm.
have it here. Renzo works here. Marlon has his opinion. Dwayne and what's not. But it would be cool to also get just other people's opinion. Yeah.
Just join the server. There's like a couple of people in there who constantly like give feedback on
Yeah, I
on tracks.
reinstalled my.
And the J Hardway and Friends Discord server.
Whoop whoop.
We currently have.
Can I come there
Uh,
as a friend?
we have like 300 members or something, so it's pretty big.
Dude.
But it's not very active anymore. Or I am active there. I read all the messages in the general chat. No, but just saying, like it used to be like a bit more active, and now it's not
So,
that active
how
anymore.
not to do marketing?
Selling point number 1.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that or anything.
You
It's
don't
like
have to be ashamed.
it has been a bit less active because I got better stuff to do, man.
I started golfing. Fuck you.
Hey, I do
I
want
started
to
playing.
shout out to KPN to withstand the connection is still there.
Yeah,
My new Razer microphone. Yeah. It's still working really good.
we're getting there. To everyone watching, if you're not part of the Discord yet, make sure to join. It's in the link is in the bios of the socials somewhere, and otherwise it's on the website. You guys have something to show?
Yeah. www.bassjackers.com. All the new releases are there. We're coming up with a lot of cool stuff. New bootlegs on SoundCloud. You know what to do. Pre-save those. I love you. Mwah.
Wow.
I have something to say. My new track is coming out the end of May, and I don't know if you can pre-save it yet. So
Yeah.
this is marketing 101.
See you guys next
Keep an
week.
eye on my socials.